It's hard to talk about the SMC advantage without really talking about my journey to SMC. So in 2016, I was undergoing a career change from law to media, and I was, besides looking for the right fit in terms of jobs and how I could make that transition, I was also looking for some sort of academic developments that could aid me in making that career change. And obviously my research led me to SMC at PAU. And even though I couldn't afford it at the time, it was on my to-do list of things that I needed to do in terms of, making this complete career change. Fast forward to 2021, we were coming out of 2020, the epic 2020, which completely changed the world as we knew it. I was now working fully remotely from home, and it just felt like the right time really to go back and pursue this dream that I had back in the day. And well, the rest is history. I'm now 7 months into my first year. We're in the second semester. And I think the very first advantage for me in terms of what it means to study at PAU, the SMC at PAU, is it's zero barriers. It's really the way that it removes barriers to accessing quality postgraduate education. So, I mean, when you consider the foresight in even just planning this type of program, so the part-time program is a hybrid program. It's essentially virtually led, or you also have, occasional in-person intensive classes every 2 weeks, I believe. And it combines that distance learning and physical model in a way that really takes into consideration the realities of today's working class person who also wants to gain a postgraduate education. And, even though 2020 and 2021 were really defining years in terms of how we approach education and distance learning in particular, SMC was already prepared for this like years back, even in 2016 when I was initially trying to apply for the program. And, what I said earlier about just removing the barriers towards accessing education. So beyond the convenience that it offers in the hybrid model, it's also in terms of finances, the way that you have various plans and various installmental plans to cater to almost every kind of economy bracket you can think in terms of the people who want to participate in the program. So it's easy on you, but it's also easy on your pockets, which is relative, truth be told. But that's something that I know that a lot of people would also be interested in. I know that the faculty or the admissions team will provide more information on that, but those are one of the first few advantages for me. It's the limitation of barriers in terms of convenience to access it, but also in terms of affordability. I have colleagues that participate in the program from outside Lagos. So Ebube may have had to move from Abuja to Lagos for this program, but I have colleagues, for instance, who participate in the program from Abuja and in other cities outside of Lagos. So you really can learn from anywhere without distance being a barrier, and not a lot of Nigerian institutions can offer that. For me, I think the second advantage is prestige. Prestige was very important to me in terms of how, when looking for, postgraduate opportunities, in terms of how established the institution is, in terms of its history, in terms of the sort of opportunities that are available to me after the program. I attended Federal University for my undergraduate studies, so it was, I was very excited to experience a different type of approach to tertiary education. So SMC has been quite exciting for me in that regard. When you look at the caliber of people that have passed through the institution, and now make up the alumni, you can check online. I'm sure that the team would also provide more information. They're top leaders in almost every sector that you can think about in Nigeria. It truly helps you to understand the legacy of what it is that you're inheriting, right? And the potential opportunities that you're being opened up to. So, and the work placement part of the program, which comes up in the second semester, I believe, towards the in the second year towards the last semester. I'm really looking forward to that because, that's where you're really able to also experience other opportunities within the industry, some of which the alumni is also facilitating. So in terms of just opening up your network and being able to interact with the industry on a larger scale, that's something that I definitely look forward to. The third thing would be infrastructure. So as I mentioned earlier, the virtual learning experience has obviously been very crucial to my ability to participate and truly get the best out of the program. So we have an e-learning portal, which pretty much is your digital school, so to speak, and houses all the resources and everything that could possibly make it easy for you to succeed in the program. So, from the text and resources that make up the course outline to accessing an e-library, but also even email and admin support from the course coordinator and various members of staff. Those are some of the things that make it, because when you say out of sight, out of mind, right? But when you have intentional infrastructure that has been put in place to make that process seem more seamless for you, you don't feel too alienated from the traditional school environment, because literally you have the support system to help you as you progress through the course. But outside of the virtual environment, the physical environment itself, because as I mentioned earlier, it's a hybrid program. You do have intensive weeks every 2 months, and then virtual classes for 3 Saturdays in a month, I believe. And the physical campus itself, it's a dream. Like the first time that I was in the campus, I couldn't make my orientation, unfortunately. So my first intensive week, that was the first time that I was in school, and it was mind-blowing. I mean, the buildings themselves, the layout, the architecture, Ebube already spoke about the campus. It's amazing to be in, and from the conducive classrooms and the air conditioning to cool your head when you're listening to Professor Biakolo teaching you professional ethics, to what's it called, to the cafeteria itself. It's famous. There's this amazing spot upstairs that's famous for donuts. I'm hooked on that thing. And I had my first experience riding a bike after 10 years because our bike is one of the mobility partners of the school. And let's just say it was quite interesting. So, being able to finally physically connect with my classmates and the facilitators and lecturers themselves, it was quite an experience, something that I cherish. And, I have the opportunity to relive every 2 months when we return for the intensive classes. And professional development, obviously, is another major advantage, which is the most important, if you ask me. I have seen the ways that I have progressed in my work and in my career since I started the program, even though it was just in October last year. So I like to think that, for instance, Professor Obiaya's amazing teachings in public speaking have been quite crucial, because I fancy myself quite shy and afraid of the crowds, but I saw myself hosting a panel at the recently concluded African Next, and I'm here speaking to you today. So I want to believe that, we're getting there, and I'm finding ways to imbibe these learnings in my practical day-to-day experience. On the back of the horrible bosses Twitter trend, I think last month, and the bento crisis. It's very funny. There was this morning I woke up and then I sent a text to our WhatsApp group and I said, you guys, literally, I was like, the first thing that came to my mind when I followed the horrible bosses trend, and then the situation that bento is Dr. Okore's image repair theory. So it's really funny how you can pick these bits and pieces from what that you're learning, and you're just finding ways to see how they actually make sense in your actual day-to-day life and in your profession. So that's an experience that I wouldn't trade for anything. And within how many months of starting the program, I've now stepped up at my work to lead my team. So it's a lot of things happening simultaneously that just tell me that, this was the right decision to make. My the final thing would have to be the network. So I already alluded to it, obviously, when I spoke about the alumni and the prestige attached to the institution itself, but the program would not be the same with the amazing classmates that I have. It's very interesting just meeting people from all walks of life, from public service to nonprofit, finance, real estate, politics. I have some of the most interesting people in my class. They make it all the more worthwhile. And, in the way that you interact, within and outside of class, and find ways to collaborate and also learn from each other based on your various professional experiences. That's something that has just been like a bonus, a value add from being in a program such as this. And I'm really excited. I can't wait to see what the future holds, but I can tell you with all sense of honesty and confidence that, choosing the MSc program at SMC PAU was definitely one of the best decisions of my adult life. And I hope that one way or the other, my experiences would hold some sway in your decision to join the program. Thank you once again for having me, and I look forward to answering any questions that you have. Thank you.
The School of Media and Communication, Pan Atlantic University, offers a 12-month full-time and 24-month part-time master's degree program in media and communication.